Yo, yo, let's get lit. Let's get lit. Let's get lit. Let's get lit. When you get good, get right, get got, get better, get gone. Get lit.
Boys, we can move through this room. I know what to do. I got to.
The desire for revenge is an inherently human trait. Retaliatory anger is quite literally baked into our DNA. The exact reason why? Well, we don't exactly know. Regardless, whether as a form of deterrence or of release, humans have been killing each other as a direct result of a perceived wrong forever. One of the earliest known texts of length, the Code of Hammurabi, dictates conditions of lex talionis, or the law of retaliation, in which crimes were punished by reciprocal justice, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, life for life. Unforgiven is undoubtedly a revenge story. Directed and headed by Clint Eastwood as a farewell of sorts to the Western genre, it follows retired outlaw William Money as he is brought back into the life of murder and debauchery by a young, headstrong gunslinger known as the Schofield Kid and the allure of a $1,000 bounty on the head of two men responsible for assaulting and disfiguring a prostitute. Later joined by a former partner in Ned Logan, played by Morgan Freeman, they eventually find themselves in a position to kill the first of the two men, only for Ned Logan to be unable to pull the trigger. Overcome with guilt, he leaves the posse and is picked up by Sheriff Little Bill.
You want to tell me and Mr. Beauchamp here all about your two villainous friends, I guess?
After shooting the first target, the Schofield Kid finds himself face to face with the second of the two targets in an outhouse, vulnerable and completely defenseless. He hesitates for a moment, and the man pleads for his life, only to be shot and killed by the now trembling, red-in-the-face kid. Following this, the Schofield Kid laments on the act, his shaky excitement quickly changing to anguish.
I shot that fucker 3 times. He's taking a shit, and he went for his pistol, and I blazed away. First shot, I got him right in the chest. Hell yeah. I killed the hell out of him, didn't I? 3 shots, and he was taking a shit.
Take a drink, kid.
Word of the two men's death arrives back to Little Bill, who himself, out of retaliation, whips and tortures Ned Logan to death, displaying his body in an upright coffin carrying a sign reading, "This is what happens to assassins around here," in a direct parallel to the kind of revenge killings committed against African Americans by lynch mobs in retaliation for a perceived, often falsified wrong. In this one scene, we are shown how the pursuit of revenge completely destroys oneself as well as those around him. In its complete deconstruction of the Western genre, Unforgiven challenges the prospect of righteous slaughter in the name of vengeance and truly begs the question, what is the price of revenge?
Well, I guess they had it coming.
We all have it coming, kid.
Red Dead Redemption 2 follows Arthur Morgan and the Vanderland Gang, a posse of degenerates and outlaws living in the twilight of the American West. Arthur, in a black and white world of savages and civilization, is a very, very bad man. Playing as him throughout the length of the game, you kill and rob countless numbers of people. So why, when Arthur finally gets his comeuppance, do we care so much? Near the start of the game, Arthur is sent to retrieve money owed to the gang by a man named Thomas Downs. Finding the man, now sick and weak, on his farm, he beats and threatens him, with the man's only response, besides the usual pleading, being to cough up blood at Arthur's face.
Where's our money?
I don't have it.
Sell your place.
We already owe more than it's worth.
Then sell your wife, or your family, or something. We ain't your idea of charity.
Knowing he has no way of paying back their debt, Arthur leaves, assuring them he'll expect payment when he returns.
I said, what you looking at, woman?
My husband isn't well. If we could just have more...
Like I said, we ain't nobody's idea of charity. Get us the money.
Arthur returns a few missions later to find Thomas Downs dead and his family in ruins. His widow reprimanding him, asking if he thinks about the afterlife.
I'm real sorry about the way things turned out, but he had a choice. Ain't my fault about the way the world is.
He didn't have a choice. He was good and he did good. There wasn't no choice in that. And you've as good as killed him yourself, and don't kid yourself. You had a choice.
You speak as if killing was something I cared about.
You ever wonder about eternity? You should.
I hope it's hot and terrible, Mrs. Downs. Otherwise, I'll feel I've been sold a false bill of goods. Now, please, give me that money.
After finally receiving payment, Arthur departs, assumedly putting the entire interaction behind him, truly showcasing the little regard he has for the lives destroyed by his actions. Later, after a botched robbery which left two of his closest companions dead, starting to truly question the legitimacy of his worldview and the gang's plans of an idyllic life picking mangoes in Tahiti, Arthur walks the streets of Saint Denis.
Let me see your tongue. And say ah.
What is it?
It's not good news.
I guess that.
You got tuberculosis. I'm really sorry for you, son. It's a hell of a thing.
The trail of blood and destruction Arthur left behind him had finally caught the spurs of his boots. In a final twist of fate, Arthur's undoing comes as a direct consequence of his own violent actions. He writes in his journal, "All them bullets shot at me, all them horses threw me, all them fights, and it was the beating of that pathetic little fella Downs that killed me, I reckon." Arthur is left at a crossroads, as he must decide who he wants to be in the time he has left. He begins to care less for his own safety.
You know, you and me, we're more ghosts than people.
Rather prioritizing those around him, even helping out the now homeless Downs family, to which Arthur claims he isn't seeking forgiveness.
I ain't looking for forgiveness. It ain't about that. But don't forgive me. Just take the money and get out of here, please. I know I ruined your life. I suffer for it every day. But Don't let yourself get killed for pride. I seen it kill too many folk.
Depending on your actions throughout the game, Arthur is given an honour rating, which affects Arthur's dialogue as well as the perception of him by the people around him. Playing past this point with high honour sees Arthur confronted by Sister Calderon, a nun who he briefly conversed with, giving money to for the sick and needy, and we see one of the most impactful and heartbreaking scenes in the game. As Arthur confides in Sister Calderon, a manifestation of goodness and selflessness, confessing to her all of his wickedness, she sees the good within him and she forgives him.
What's wrong?
I'm dying, sister.
Okay.
Yeah, I got TB. I got it. Beating a man to death for a few bucks. I've lived a bad life, sister.
We've all lived bad lives, Mr. Morgan. We all sin.
But I still don't believe in nothing.
Often, neither do I.
Huh?
But then I meet someone like you, and everything makes sense.
You're too smart for me, sister. I guess I'm afraid.
Arthur's confession of his fear of death comes as a direct contradiction to the indignant nature in which he addressed death with Mrs. Downs, showing how Arthur's entire perception of the world around him, and more importantly of himself, has completely shifted. This entire interaction with Sister Calderon is completely inaccessible by the player if they have low honour, which, as well as a conversation had between Sadie, Charles and John in the epilogue, serves as a perfect demonstration of what Rockstar North and the character of Arthur Morgan were trying to express.
We owe this to Arthur.
Revenge. That might be something he could have understood.
We owe this to Arthur.
You think Arthur cared about revenge? I'm not so sure, especially not at the end.
He cared about stopping Micah, and that's what we're doing.
Righteousness does not come from revenge. The truly righteous are those with the will to let go of their pain and to grant forgiveness.